This is Dante Williams, and you watching
Dante's Boxing Nation.
This is Showtime Sean Portland. Filipino Flash, Jesse Burns.
This is Al Bernstein. You're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
Hi, I'm Sugar Ray.
Chick Shape.
Sergio the last name more.
Dante's Boxing Nation. Boom, 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 boom.
Yo, this is Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder.
My name is Gennady Golovkin.
And you're watching
Dante's Boxing Nation.
Dante's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? So while I had to report some bad news today, which is Roman Gonzalez just turned down a unification bout against the Monster, Inoue, the WBO champion, that's his nickname, the Monster. While I had to report that bad news, I am so elated to report some of the best news for this year in boxing, which is it is now official, according to Bob Arum. Nicholas Walters and Lomachenko will be fighting in November. Matter of fact, they're fighting on November 26th out here in Las Vegas at the Cosmopolitan. This is a big fight. I'm telling you guys right now, this year just keeps getting better and better and better. In the month of November alone, we have the battle for supremacy. We have Ward versus Kovalev. The winner of that fight is the undisputed pound-for-pound champion. That's why they titled that fight pound for pound. So we have that fight. Now we also have Nicholas Walters versus Lomachenko. This is a good fight, man. I mean, it gets no better than this. And I truly believe the winner of this fight is hands down, top 5, the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world. I mean, you have Lomachenko, who basically dominated Gary Russell Jr. because the fight wasn't really that close, so you can say he dominated Gary Russell Jr. And then you have Nicholas Walters, who destroyed Nolito Donaire. If they were to win, either one of these guys, if they were to win this fight, that no doubt propels their career into pound-for-pound status. Top 5 pound-for-pound status. So I really like this fight. You know, I told you guys earlier that the fight, it didn't get made before because, well, it has something to do with HBO and it has something to do with Bob Arum. HBO, you know, they could not fork out enough money to really pay both fighters. So, you know, they offered both fighters a little amount of money. Let's just put it that way. But at the same time, it was partially Bob Arum's fault because for whatever reason, Bob, he decided, or he felt that Lomachenko deserved more money than Nicholas Walters did. Now, I don't know what the split was in this fight, but clearly Nicholas Walters, he's okay with the purse that he's receiving for this fight. So it'll be interesting to see what the purse split is for this fight, but it's good that the fight is coming to fruition now. Now, you also have to give credit to Bob Arum. Credit to Bob Arum, man, for making this fight come to fruition, making it a reality. Because once again, for Bob Arum and Top Rank, they desperately needed a fight like this. Because we've been getting a lot of terrible mismatches when it comes to Top Rank fighters. And this right here is by far one of the best fights made when it comes to the Top Rank stable. So it'll be interesting to see how this fight plays out. You know, this fight, it kind of reminds me, and I'm going to go way back. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Willie Pep versus Sandy Saddler. Yeah, I go way back. For those of you guys who've never heard of Sandy Saddler or Willie Pep, he was known to be a boxer, a very elusive fighter, moved around the ring a lot. Matter of fact, it's been said that he actually even won a round without even throwing a punch because the judges were so impressed with his foot movement and his defense, okay? But when Willie Pep faced Sandy Saddler Sandy Sattler was more of a boxer puncher, come forward. Now, of course, the sport has evolved since that time that Willie Pep was fighting, so when it comes to Lomachenko, there's no doubt about it. He's far more advanced than a Willie Pep. But when you just look at the fact that you have Lomachenko, whose style would be more similar to Willie Pep, you have the Nicholas Walters, whose style would be more similar to Sandy Sattler, the fact that Lomachenko is going to be moving on his feet and he probably has more finesse than the aggressive Nicholas Walters, that's what makes this fight so interesting, because one could clearly say the better boxer is Lomachenko, but the more powerful, the more threatening fighter is Nicholas Walters in this fight. The fact that this fight is taking place at a higher weight class for Lomachenko, even though Nicholas Walters, he moved up in weight as well, but he's already fought at that weight class. This is a bigger jump up as far as I'm concerned for Lomachenko, because he's going up against a very hard puncher. And Nicholas Walters is not your typical uneducated, aggressive fighter. Nicholas Walters is not just coming in quote unquote Mexican style, like a Antonio Margarito, like a Brandon Rios. This is why I feel when fighters like Gennady Golovkin says he's Mexican style, I truly believe he's doing himself a disservice when he says that, because Golovkin is not Mexican style. Golovkin does not like to get hit, and Golovkin has a very good defense. In fact, the only time we really seen him get hit was when he faced Kell Brook. That was because he stepped up in competition and he was facing someone who was more athletic, had better speed, and a higher boxing IQ. But for the most part, Golovkin, he has a good defense and he doesn't like to get hit at will. I mean, no one obviously likes to get hit, but let's just put it this way. Golovkin has a type of coordination to avoid the majority of opponents' punches. So does Nicholas Walters. Nicholas Walters is very educated on the inside. If you look at Nicholas Walters' last fight against Jason Sosa, Nicholas Walters was moving up in weight, facing a hard puncher and a very dangerous fighter. Matter of fact, Jason Sosa just knocked out Javier Fortuna. So we know how good Jason Sosa is, right? And this is the guy that Nicholas Walters moved up in weight and he dominated. Now, what was interesting in that fight is Jason Sosa, he tried to bully Nicholas Walters. He tried to bully him because he truly felt, and he even said that before the fight, he felt, I'm too big, I'm too strong for this guy moving up to my weight. So he tried to bully Nicholas Walters, and Nicholas Walters, he stood his ground. Jason Sosa wanted an inside fight. That's exactly what Nicholas Walters gave the guy who was perceived to be the bigger man. That's exactly what he gave him, was an inside fight. And Nicholas Walters, he fought on the inside and he hardly ever got touched. What's very impressive about Nicholas Walters' boxing IQ is he could fight you up close and go into a Floyd Mayweather, a type of shoulder roll, Philly shell defense. You know, a lot of, you don't see that too often. You don't see people go into that type of defense and fight an inside fight. Usually people are more fighting at mid-range, you know, and they're countering and stuff like that when they're using that type of defense. But Nicholas Walters, he could implement that style and fight you on the inside. So Nicholas Walters is very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. It'll be very interesting to see how Lomachenko deals with Nicholas Walters' intelligent pressure. Nicholas Walters also has a tremendous jab. His jab reminds me of Ike Cortez' jab. They used to call it the bazooka. That's what type of jab Nicholas Walters has. I mean, it's one thing for a guy to constantly pressure you and walk you down, but to have somebody walking you down with a great jab, that's even more difficult to handle. So, you know, Lomachenko, he has his hands full. Let's just put it that way. But obviously, so does Nicholas Walters, because Lomachenko is possibly one of the best counterpunchers in the business. His angles, his foot movement combined with speed, coordination, he has rhythm. Nicholas Walters is going to be in for a tough fight as well. But something else that concerns me about Lomachenko is I noticed in this last fight against Rocky Martinez, even though that was a very impressive performance, I did notice Lomachenko surprisingly got hit by the right hand. Roman Martinez, excuse me. He got hit with Roman's right hand quite often in that fight. And the thing is, Nicholas Walters is a very accurate puncher. So, this is going to be interesting. This is going to be a very, very interesting fight. And man, whoever wins this fight is definitely the man. Whoever wins this fight is definitely the man. So we'll see. We'll see what happens on November 26th. I'll most likely do a breakdown prediction video probably later on. But that's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one.
This is Bobby, and you're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.